Hey, Mark.
How's it
I
going, Justin?
terrible, terrible. But look,
Okay.
check this out. Check out this weather. I don't know if this is terrible, but this is something that's going on. Oh my gosh, it's
That's
snowing up in our mountain house all the
oh,
time
it's
these days.
snowing. Nice.
Yeah, you
I
can't see
missed
that.
that.
You
I
can't see
can,
that.
I can. Just out the window. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trees.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh, it's been snowing a lot over here in the mountains.
yeah, I was back in Colorado almost this time of year last year, like just a few weeks earlier, and it was snowy the first half of my trip, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
Well,
there's something that is nice about snow, like the um, fireplace. That's something nice. In fact, I was lucky enough to get 19 Duralog fire logs, 4 hour burning fire logs delivered yesterday.
wow.
So
So
that was,
I never had that like in the city. I mean, I went camping as a kid, but
yeah.
and there is something about like when it's like your water bottles have frozen because you didn't keep them inside your sleeping bag, and then
Right.
like you get a fire going, and it's amazing. But
Hmm.
um, for me, it's just because I grew up there. I grew up with Four Seasons, and then most of my adult life I've been on a semi-tropical island, so you get
That
to
is
miss
pretty.
it.
Yeah, that is cool. So you've known warmth.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, how'd the goals go?
Terrible,
Okay.
terrible.
Um,
Everything terrible. Like everything is going badly for me. I just want you to know that. And it's funny sometimes when other people say stuff is going badly, that makes me feel good because I'm like,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
things are going badly for him, so I must be doing
Well,
well.
I don't feel that, but I do feel like it's not just me. Like my last 3 weeks, have been crazy because we
Yeah.
talked about like the bank account and immigration. I'm still dealing with the immigration. I just did step two for my entrepreneur visa, so I should
Mm.
get it in 7 days. But then within 15 days after getting it, I have to convert that into an alien resident card, and that requires a signed lease that's current. But my
Oh.
lease was like we signed it 2.5 years ago. It was only
Oh
for
my
1 year
gosh.
and turned to month. So I got to like track down the landlord, and I'm out of money. And so there's
Lots of
lots
stuff
of
going on.
stuff. But I guess just because like it's been so bad, and then I just keep knocking them down. I'm kind of feeling like, you know, got time.
You're going to get
I
through
can
it. You're going to
also
find
like
ways.
my landlady's great. Like she's not gonna be like, oh, you want a lease, do you? After
So
the one that
I've
we
I've
already had.
always thought, for some reason, I always thought you were in some kind of like apartment block, but sounds like
I
you're in
sort of
more of a
am.
private house.
No, I'm in a. Well, it's kind of between. It's like
A
it's a
city condo.
no, it's a studio. But it's I'm in an apartment building in Taiwan, like a pretty old one, and every floor is one residence, and they're all fairly small. Mine's the smallest because it's on the top. So it's like it's like a bedroom, a bathroom, balcony, but it's like the whole floor is just me, and then below me there's
I see.
older guy, and below him there's a family, and just one of those things. But the location is kind of a walk from the metro, which I like because that makes it more
Keeps you
difficult
fit.
for me to go out and meet my friends. So
Right.
it's like I only go out once in a while. Then I'll be out like, many hours, but it encourages spending more time working and being productive by the river, go running.
Yeah,
So,
sorry, I just turned a light on there so that you can actually see me because where I'm sitting right now, the light's just sort of coming in through the side. So I sort of look like
uh,
to catch a predator. Hello. You could just see the silhouette of a person. Yeah. Yeah.
or,
Oh, cool. Well, well, so good. I'm
so
glad to hear that stuff's moving forward for you.
Well, so let me go over my goals really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
I didn't do the running as much as I wanted to. I was gonna. I forgot if I said it was two or I think I said 3 times running, 2 times weights. I ended up doing 4 times weights, 1 time running, and I did a lot of walking all over the place. But it's not
That
running.
sounds pretty good. Got
Yeah,
something done.
yeah, it's enough to make me not feel horrible for sitting all the rest of the time. The main like side project slash bootstrapping goal was get lots of videos done for Alchemist Camp. I believe I said at least 2. I got 3 done, or no, I got 4 done. So, or no, 3. I did a second one on Tailwind, and then I did 2 more in my live view series, building out the reactor site,
Dude, you rocked it.
which is right here. And I've got like a modified markdown editor, so I can just write markdown with a few extra additions I've made, like these dash
Oh, I
space
love
dash
it.
space dash will be in HR.
Okay, so this is on your site. Wait.
This is localhost 4000, but
Okay, great. So this is
it
gonna is this gonna
this is
publish to?
future. This I'm going to publish this to our reactor site. This is what I've been building in all those screencasts about Phoenix Live View.
I'd be really interested to know if this works well. Really interested. I'm very
Um,
excited to see how this
you,
works out. And so is this? But this it consumes the Pinecast link. Got it. Yeah.
right. So if you click here, so all I've done is I put the audio URL, and then it
Hmm.
generates an iframe and all the
Yeah.
stuff. So if I click here, I can hear you say, "Okay, what's this?" So
Okay.
that's
Great.
the deal. My YouTube traffic is up. Let's see. I think I just closed the. Where's my? There we go. My
This is
YouTube
the
traffic is up. Definitely got more subscribers than normal. Twitter followers have been growing a lot. So I gained like about 50 in the last week. So 50 YouTube subscribers, which is good for me. But
you've moved from my good luck charm to my bad luck charm
the
to my I'm
well,
now annoyed with you charm.
but it's no, this is one of those
I'm just
you
kidding.
win some, lose some things,
All
because
right.
the revenue, which was growing, is now not. I think
Oh.
I lost like $18 MRR, and I saw this thread from Joel Hooks, the co-founder of Egghead.io. They lost 10% of their MRR. Signups are low, cancellation, like churn is higher. And he said the trend is pick the least expensive, lowest duration plan and immediately cancel to access something specific. And that's happened to me 3 times this month.
Yeah.
Like someone has signed up and then they've downloaded a bunch of source code, checked out like, whatever series, and then they cancel,
Yeah.
which used to never happen. So I think there are just so many people that have cut prices and put stuff out there
Yeah.
that now there are a bunch of people that I guess it just makes my prices feel higher. So there are more people that are just going in opportunistically for one thing, which isn't exactly what I set up the subscription for. Now, fortunately, I have many, many other people that have already been subscribers for a long time and are not doing that. It's just the new subscribers are churning and they didn't used to.
Well, that's why you need well, this is a strategy, not necessarily what you need, but this is a strategy. And I've seen that it's quite useful. Is to sort of think, okay, what is your sort of maximum lifetime potential, and then find some, do a haircut of from all your customers, your lifetime value, and if you, I mean, it probably couldn't be 1,000. I doubt it's going to be 1,000 per customer.
Stripe estimates like 600 or 700, although it depends on recent churn because their
Yeah,
LTV
so
estimation
basically,
works.
give that a haircut and then say all you can eat pass forever.
Oh, lifetime.
Yeah, lifetime 495 lifetime.
Interesting.
So if they're saying 700, then you could try like a like a
I'm doing a year for 210 now, or with a discount 150 to get it like Black Friday or on sign up. So
you could try a high price point 5, like a 597, and then see if that gets them, because I think you'd be happy to capture 597 value up front from someone, right?
For Alchemist Camp, yeah, and also like that wouldn't make me give like my future analytics tool or
Exactly.
starter kit
Exactly.
for
I
free.
mean,
So,
what feels good to my gut feel price? Just, but I mean, this is just me. I
hmm
gut feeling on pricing, which I think I'm really good at, but I don't have any evidence to know. I have some evidence, but not like hard to millions of users or whatever. But anyway, for something just under 500 feels right to me for a product like that
for a lifetime,
for your
yeah,
lifetime. Yeah, like a 497.
yeah. The other thing I thought about is what if I just eliminate the monthly plan? Like, so the people's
You
only
can only,
option
but
is
yeah.
to get a year.
What would a year be?
A year is 210 if they just like come in cold off the internet,
Oh, I thought you
and
said
I
yeah. Yeah.
and I
Okay.
do very occasional discounts like Black Friday. It'll be 150, or when someone signs up and they go through like the sign up life cycle emails, they'll get an offer for 150.
And it's a 210 based on what?
The monthly is 21 a month, and 21 times 10 is 210. So it's a slight discount over
And how many
12
people
times
go for
21.
that 210?
It's been maybe 4 or 5. I have a total of 103 current subscribers.
Well, since you introduced 210, how many went like, because obviously you have 100 subscribers, but you didn't introduce
Mhm.
210 from the beginning, or did you?
Right, right. No, I didn't. So basically, I've always had the annual be
Yeah.
either somewhere between like 8 and 10 months of monthly, and I started the monthly at 12, then I went to 15, then I went to 18, then I went to 21. And going from 18 to 21 was the first time I like actually saw churn pick up, maybe a tiny bit 15 to 18. But I thought at that point, like, like this feels like it's pricing some people out. So I haven't touched the pricing for like 8 months or 9 months, and I've just been producing more and more content. So hopefully the amount of content will catch up with the price.
How many people, what percentage would you say of current signups, like within your last month, went for the year plan? Just want to just work through this.
Of the last month, it would
Like, how many
be
signups did
about
you
the
have in total?
same. I had a lot. I had like 10 or 11. So
So
I had,
10 in total, 10 total signups.
yeah,
And how many of those were yearly?
3. So that's about the normal ratio.
So 30%?
Yeah. Although one of those yearly subscribers unsubscribed really fast, which is nuts because like when they unsubscribe, they lose access, and it warns them like, once you unsubscribe, you lose access.
Oh, that's weird. You shouldn't, you can't do that. Like they pay for a year and then they lose access for that whole year.
Yeah, like if they pay for the membership and they can cancel it anytime they want.
Yeah, you
So
can't do that.
the messaging is like you will lose access if you cancel a membership. I've had one person do that and say they thought that it was, they thought that it didn't end the access right away, and so I just gave them the remainder period. But the way it's set up now, that just cancels it.
Oh, wow. That's what I wouldn't do that. Like, I don't think that's a good user journey. Because if they
Yeah,
pay for a year, they should get access for a year. You just basically, so when they cancel, it just doesn't bill them next year and they lose
it
access.
just stops renewals. I think that's a thing because they're thinking like renewals as opposed to canceling it right away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the problem. Just my take.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did get that. I mean, after I got that one complaint, I thought about that a little bit, but no one else has done that. Like since then, everyone else has canceled like a day or two before their last day.
Yeah. But it shouldn't be on them. Shouldn't
Yeah,
be on them to like
yeah,
remember how to solve your problem. You know what I
that's
mean?
true. That's true.
Yeah, and I know it's a pain in the ass to have to build this kind of stuff, but yeah, I think it's important.
That is 100% of the thing. My billing system has been. I mean, it started off as just send me
Yeah,
money with PayPal, and it's been like very, very slowly.
yeah.
getting
You know,
better.
Stripe do you use Stripe or no?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, you do. Yeah.
I try to. A few people can't use Stripe, but I try to use
Okay.
Stripe.
Stripe now has they've added scheduling to their subscriptions, which is
Hmm.
something I've wanted for ages because I've had to roll my own. But basically, it means that you can set up a subscription and then say how many, what number of payments it can take, and then it will auto turn itself off after that number of payments. Sort of, so that you can just
Oh,
programmatically set that up, so you don't have to
oh,
build that
okay.
stuff in. Which is kind of painful because like what you have to do is you have to build a webhook, and then every
Yeah.
time an event happens in Stripe, you have to yourself count and see, oh, is this payment number 12? To shut it down, cancel it. But yeah, so they've done that now, which is kind of cool. It makes life easy.
But yeah, it does sound useful. Um, yeah. So forgot what else I was thinking about that. Yeah. Also, anyway, I feel like it's the tenor has changed a bit, so I'm
Hmm.
considering some options, and I would actually, I think, I don't know, lifetime is a little bit weird to me. I mean, it's just like it's a weird thing for a subscription, but I guess I'm not on the
But
hook
is it a
to keep making
subscription?
videos forever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I have some people that have been subscribed for almost 2 years now. Like some of my, I think my very first subscriber is
yeah,
still
but
subscribed.
the price point they're at that never-ending subscription price point, like a 10 or less, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that right? Yeah, I found that with Plugio, like any of the people who were under 10 or 10 never
They just
cancelled
never
ever.
can.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have
So,
just made it look. Maybe I should have just
well,
kept it that
but
low.
maybe you don't have a big enough market, but I think it's a very interesting strategy, and that's what I'm thinking about with that's the lesson I'm thinking about with Taskflow. I want to create a product that is a $10 price point. I want it to be a mass market product with a $10 price point with a super low churn, and just slowly build out. That's what I'm thinking about. So
Yeah,
maybe there's not enough people in your market.
it's a small market. So that was another thing. I told you last week about my friend's friend who did a bunch of Elixir videos, that he did a bunch of Ansible videos, and the
Yeah,
Ansible
yeah,
videos had 10 times the viewers.
yeah.
So
Right.
I
Ansible.
have,
I mean, that popular technology, Ansible, is
yeah.
10 times the viewers of Elixir.
Well, it's
I mean,
popular for DevOps people.
no, that was my joke. I'm
Yeah,
being sarcastic.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Ansible. I mean, who the fuck's heard of Ansible? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
if Elixir's a tenth of Ansible, then fuck. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've been thinking about that. So I've got to broaden it a bit and still, still serve the same people is my thought. So
Mhm.
in fact, I made up a list of ideas of stuff. I may pull up something on the screen I didn't mean to. So
Great.
if I do, then we'll just cut that part out. Here we go. One off. Uh, Here
I love the
is
high tech note taking
notes.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So what can I sell one off? I'm thinking I could do a course on Vim super easily
Yeah.
and just make that $5. A Flexbox crash course, maybe $9. Tailwind CSS course is like Adam Wathan has already put educational materials online, but it's like growing fast. It's pretty new. I could probably like do something like pre-sign-ups at 29 and then over time increase it to 79. The starter kit could do far more, of course, but that's way more work. And then the other thing I've thought about teaching is the Typeform and ConvertKit integration with my server API. So it's like setting up webhooks so that you can make a Typeform, have that hit your server, and then use that to ping ConvertKit's API and create new subscribers with data based on what they said in the Typeform. And I think that that's probably easier to price higher because there's like very immediate money in figuring that out, like improving your email marketing. So
I think the first thought that comes to mind is um, so why do you want to do a one off? Well, okay, so of those ones that you've got, there's a couple there that I mean, stop me if you don't want to hear my. I'm never going to not give you unsolicited
Yeah.
feedback. Is that a
Okay.
problem?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
super curious. But before you do that, let me
Okay.
just throw in, like, you asked
Yeah.
why one off.
Yeah.
I've been thinking more about one offs because, actually, partially because of what you put in Nugget. You put like the three really desirable types of things to be selling are one off products, because like they're pretty easy to do, they're pretty easy to sell, and they do reasonably well. And then another one you gave really high ratings was productized service, which is more difficult but still like really good for the difficulty and the odds of success. And then SaaS you put in there as well, which is more difficult, but also super rewarding for the difficulty.
Well,
So that's
yeah,
part of
but
it.
the reason why I put that in there in the course was about the stage of the founder. Remember our chart about what level you are as a founder.
Yeah, yeah.
So the best thing for a fresh out of the box, just a freshly picked daisy founder is a course because it's their first experience of selling online. But you've already done that, so you've already done that, and you've created monthly revenues. So you're actually beyond that level. Like by rights, the thing that you should be building next is SaaS.
Okay. Well, that is desirable, but it's slow. And right now, I guess I'm looking for something that makes money faster.
A
The
quick
one-off sales,
hit.
I think, are easier to. I think they're easier to. They're less of a hurdle because people don't have to worry about cancellations, or what if it's a pain to deal with, or what if I forget about it, or all those things. For the record,
Want to
I
make
have
money?
given refunds to everybody who has complained, and it's been a small number. But
No, listen. But here's the thing: if you want to make money fast, then $5 price points because you've got here the Vim course $5, Flexbox Crash Course $9. Doesn't make sense to put in a bunch of effort to build a course and then charge $9 because at max you're going to sell probably 100 if you're lucky.
I
So you want to be doing the high price points. Finding something for a $500 if you want to make money fast.
that's a good point. It's so my thought with the Flexbox one, I'm not super keen on doing. The ones I'm really motivated to do are the Vim and the Typeforms ConvertKit integration and the Tailwind ones. Um, the thought on that, though, is just a tripwire, just converting someone from being a casual observer into having spent any money at all. I think is
Mm.
really valuable because,
Yeah,
like, it
there.
crosses a psychological threshold, and then they might be more likely to even start learning Elixir.
That's possible. Um,
This is totally speculative.
you
Like
know,
this,
I,
the
I
whole idea
I
of
think I
doing one
might
of
have a
these.
better use of your time potentially, which is actually it's the final. You remember I sent you that video of John Paul who's doing Fire CI, and I showed you,
Yes,
and
yes.
and so basically it was marketing strategy for him on how
Hmm.
to move forward. So because the company I work for, TrueSpace, one of my day jobs, I do two day jobs, TrueSpace and Modern Teacher. Because of COVID, basically everyone's going online now. Like it's just crazy. It's just all these businesses that used to be real world and all these leaders and CEOs who just thought, no, I'm not going online. No, I'm not going to do. I'm not never going to do work home. Never going to do remote. And be like, okay, I think we need to do that. And I'm not saying that my bosses were like never, but what they are thinking is, okay, this is a shift. This is a shift, and we need to
Yeah,
work out how to make our stuff work online. And what it in TrueSpace's case, they sell basically on-site courses, and they have an on-site membership. It's sort of kind of like a. Have I ever talked about TrueSpace?
only like indirectly.
Oh, okay. So basically, what TrueSpace does, this is the company that I work for, CTO of TrueSpace, along with one teacher. What they do is they help companies who's sort of got startup funding, who've got to like $1 million and or maybe $2 million, and they've stalled, and
Hmm.
they help those companies specifically get to 10 million revenue. So That's basically what they do.
Hmm.
It's funny looking at your face. I could never tell if you're interested or not.
Oh, no, I'm just trying I'm trying not to distract
Oh no, do
from the
well.
speaker.
Well, do like feel
If I
free
have
to.
if I have a strong reaction, I'll show it.
Okay, or an interest. Yeah. So basically, they they work with those companies, and the whole thing's sort of done in the real world, and it's called
Hmm.
True Space. And but by the same token, it could all be done online, you know. But the thing that they've especially done is they've worked with Gallup and
Hmm.
spent a lot of money over the last
On
seven.
surveys.
No, not not asking Gallup to survey people. They've worked. Let me just show you here. Okay, so what's really useful is the breakdown of the business, but it's done through charts, but also through like I guess spreadsheet style analysis. But if we look here, what we're looking at is we're looking at so five conditions break down into 12 stocks, and each of those stocks are different aspects of running your company. And so this in this chart that I'm showing here, it's sort of like a spider web type chart, and the outside, that's sort of the dark gold, is the companies. This is the threshold here. So, for example, in focus, like the companies we measured that went from 2 million to 10 million, you know, they averaged a score of 73 out of 100 on this focus stock. And so, if we go down to this company that we're looking at here, Aimco, which is a fake company,
This
so I'm going to
is less successful.
yeah, so I'm going to just hover over what their breakdown was. So they got 49 on the focus stock, and that is made up of customers, market, point of view, and talent. And so you can see that on talent, and this is all about like talent, hiring, retaining talent, all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. They scored a 52 out of 100, so they've got some work to do there. And on market is also like, do they understand their market, that type of thing. So they've got like 47 out of 100 there. And so this is their overall score. So then they can zoom down and have a look at this particular stock focus. So if I scroll down the
So,
page
so
here,
each of those 12 stocks is just a number that you want as high as possible.
yeah, and I'll just show you how that breaks down. So this is the overall company shape in this chart. Now we're going to have a look at each individual person, and you can see, Carol, Alejandro, and Werner. This is my fake data sets, just making up names. For some reason, it chose Hispanic names for this company.
So the way I guess maybe the way I would describe this, if you can't see it, is it's like you have like a perfect score would be a big dodecahedron. It would just be this 12-sided, or actually not dodecahedron. It would be this 12-sided shape, and it would be completely symmetrical, uh, and just like an octagon, except it's got 12 sides. And if one of those factors or one of those stocks is less than perfect, then that corner is dented in. So on each of these 12 possible corners that they could reach, if they were at 100, they make some distance out from the center. And so you get some various shape depending on how good the company was at different things.
And so in the first chart, we see the composite company view that shows the shape of the company. And then in the second chart, we see broken down by the individual executives of the company. So we can see exactly where each. So, for example, in this case, Alejandro, he is very low on mission. So, like, he really doesn't give a monkeys about the mission of the company. So,
But he's engaged.
he's at a 22, but like with regards to benefits, yeah, he really wants the company to give out a lot of money to their employees, type of thing. Okay, so if we but I wanted to show you how on focus, if we scroll down, or let's just say alignment here. If we go back up to this chart, alignment,
Okay,
where
so
was
where are we going with this?
I'm just showing you how it breaks down. So
Okay.
basically the stocks and flows. So this is focus. So remember, this is the first one, focus.
Hmm.
And then this basically then breaks it down and does a similar kind of chart, and you can bring in the individual users there.
Okay, so
So
this is a way of modeling
yeah,
attributes that affect a business's success. and the
Exactly.
same attributes in people.
Exactly. And it goes super deep. And so basically you can go in and this is the sort of the whole framework broken down. By the way, do you like this? This I built this all from scratch, building this
It looks
this
nice,
aerotree.
yeah.
Yeah. So this and so if you've got under 40 on any of these I guess flows, what they call, then there's a little speech bubble. It's a talking point. And so what we do is we have coaching sessions with companies after they've taken this, they've put their executive team through this, and we work with them in a coaching capacity. Charles Fred, who's our CEO, who's built and sold 3 very big and very successful companies, is behind this, and this is good. I can't remember why we got here in the first place.
That's why I asked where we were going with it.
Why
Well,
did
I
I
think
get here? I did. Yeah,
because I was
I remember
talking
now.
about
Yeah.
doing one-time sales that reach beyond just Elixir in order to go to the
Yes, I
top of my
remember
funnel.
exactly why. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to get here in the first place was because I've got the most experience, I think, on the company at building online businesses.
Sure.
So I really wanted to think through for them how marketing works. And so this is sort of just where I got to with Nugget, which is, you have this product. How do you market this product? And I wanted something to explain something to them so that they could succinctly and quickly see what needed to be done to create this marketing framework. And what it made me realize is this is the next Nugget module.
Oh,
and
nice.
this is relevant, very relevant for you. And this is after working with, I guess, about 5 founders at this marketing thing, I think I finally worked out the framework of how this works. And I think this could be super useful for you to think about, rather than building a new product, maybe think about marketing what you've already got through this this lens. So I just wanted to talk through that with you. Is that okay? So
yeah, that's okay. Although it doesn't address the fact that the market I've chosen is super small.
Well, that's kind of interesting because the market that you've chosen is it super small, or is it that we've discussed that you're part of the market, you're one of the market builders?
It's super small now, and it's growing less slowly than much larger languages like Rust.
But couldn't you be one of the market builders?
How do you mean?
Well, just like with any tech, any, when someone shows why it's so great, then that brings more people in, and then that makes the market larger.
Yeah. So I can have an effect on it, but it would take a lot to move a whole programming language.
Okay.
Like I think if I built like the next I like name your Deca unicorn, then maybe.
Okay.
But maybe not, because there'd be lots of others that use Node or something else.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, I still think this is useful for whatever you do, and even for me. And the other reason why I'm thinking about this is because I'm doing, obviously want to use it for Taskflow and for Nugget. And by the way,
well, you maximize what you have.
And by the way, I have not done any work on Taskflow.
But
because
you did share some new nuggets of
what?
I got an email from Nugget today.
Oh yeah. So that's what I was about to tell you. So for some reason, my internal mood is I really don't want to work on Taskflow right now, to the point where the structured procrastination list and strategy that Taskflow uses has made me work on Nugget. I don't want to work on Taskflow so much that I'm now working on Nugget, because basically I would rather work on Nugget than Taskflow, and I know I need to get something done.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened, and Nugget is starting up again, and I'm going to use this marketing on Nugget.
And I notice your new price point is not it's not quite as low as you were talking about last week, but it's a sizable reduction.
Yes, Yeah. So basically, you can get into you get in for $40. I'll show you the. Let me just show you the page there.
It's basically like 50% less.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah. So basically, we really have three payment options. So what I'm the way that I'm pitching it, and it's honestly true, and this is the only way I could release it and feel good about it, is to really reduce the price. But to make it so that you can get in and start experiencing it for $47 a month. You know,
it's like an
um,
ICU for your new startup.
like a what?
An ICU for your fledgling startup
What's an ICU?
intensive care unit.
Oh, you're right. So, yeah. So the goal price is like a $5,000, but during COVID-19, obviously not going to do that. And plus, also, I did get some emails from people saying, "Look, you haven't done a batch for a while. I'd really like to get in. What's the deal?" So, okay, but I didn't want to open a batch of those price points, which was 2,000 for the base plan and 1,000 if you paid one payment. So I've just, like you said, split everything in half.
I think that's a good balance because, like, you definitely wouldn't want to go down to like 99 total
No,
because then you talked about it, like getting a lot of people in, but then you'd have so much to do in Slack. Like,
oh yeah, and you devalue it. I mean, the simple fact is, people who've paid, large price points, have said it's, they've learned an incredible amount. So it just wouldn't be sensible. But anyway, just to quickly go through the marketing thing, I don't know if this is interesting anymore.
the
But
life cycle phases. Oh yes. So this is the like the business consulting.
no, this is basically the next module of Nugget. So what I realized is it's about this idea of, you've heard of the parable. So vis-a-vis marketing, right? So when we build products, we go out and we market. We do different things. We try different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever heard of that parable of the three blind men who discover an elephant?
Yes.
But each one feels a different part, and so one
Yes.
feels a tusk, and it's like, oh, this is a mighty sword, and another one feels the knee. Oh, this is a boulder, Another one feels the side. It's like, oh, here's a weird hairy wall. But then someone who comes up and who can see and says, oh, hey guys, that's an elephant. I think that is what I have seen. That is a very consistent and repetitive pattern that I've seen with pretty much anyone I've spoken to about marketing their website. So what it made me think is there needs to be something where you can see the elephant, some sort of plan and strategy, so that you can see the whole elephant of the marketing that makes it much easier for you to not just build a leg or build a tusk. Because at the end of the day, it's not really helping you. Like, you need to build every layer of your marketing funnel and your marketing plan. And I thought I was being unique and original. And then I went out and did some research and found out that this concept exists, and it's called customer lifecycle marketing. And now the versions of it out there are complicated. So I've tried to distill it into a really, really simple version about the life cycle of your customer. And so I've just broken it down into six phases. So this idea is like, it's even abstracting out of all of your CRM tools, and it's just like a totally top line chart. How many people do you have in your cold lead? How many people do you have as a warm lead? So just to give you the six. Cold lead, this is someone who you don't know. So at the beginning of your customer life cycle, people don't know you. They need to get to know you. They need to know you exist.
This looks a lot like what you see growth hacker types talk about.
Okay.
Like they're looking at, like, what does it cost you to get like an email, and then what does it cost to warm them up, and then what does it cost to sell to them, and like what percentage can you get to refer, and can you get it such that you're getting more new people coming in from the referrals than you're spending, and then you get a growth engine.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what a growth engine is a great word, by the way. Thank you. I'm going to
All right.
I'm going to use that, because maybe that is what the Nugget module is called. But just to give you, I'm not going to go into the depth of everything, but I'm just going to show you the cold lead and the warm lead, just the thinking about this and how this sort of is explained.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm going to
You've
keep it
been
simple.
busy.
Yeah. So okay. So basically, so we've got a cold lead. They don't know us. We've got a warm lead. That's when they're sort of in our drip campaigns. We've got a hot lead. That's where they're on the cusp of buying. We've got a starter customer. That's they've bought something and you need to show them stuff. We've got a successful customer. They are definitely renewing. They're happy with us. And a referring customer, they are like, yep, these people are the shit, and they're telling everyone about you. So just going through each one of these, this is the way I'm breaking it down, and the way I'm going to put it in the Nugget course is that each one of these layers, you have an objective, you have a metric to measure, you have tools you use, and you have a method. So I'm just going to show you the cold lead, and then just between you and me offline, I'll give you more information. I'll send you this, and you can use it if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. Yeah. So basically, the objective of a cold lead is to make a person aware you exist, and especially to help a person self-qualify into your world, because it's super important that they are your target market. Like it can't just be random McPerson. It has to be someone who's like sort of just right. So you self-qualify them, and to convert a person into a warm lead. So that's basically your objectives of the cold lead. And the metrics are pretty simple. It's your number of unique views per month. So that's going to include anyone who views whatever your starting point is. So for example, it could be Facebook ads. It could be, content marketing, search page landings.
Would this be like impressions, like not even views?
Yeah, exactly.
Even?
Exactly. It could be it's impressions.
They just see my video on YouTube, even if they didn't click on it. They've
seen. See, you're already helping. I used the wrong word. Impressions. So, so the metric to measure this cold lead work is impressions and unique clicks. So basically, the tools are obviously SEO, content marketing, ads, podcast, PR. So this is the sort of the real cold stuff to bring people into your world. And so this is also why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to just really break it down into its simplest components, so that I could help explain to the TrueSpace team and help explain to Nugget members exactly how to think about this stuff. And you don't have to build everything, but the point is you have to have one or two things at each layer. So you have to have some SEO, you have to have some content marketing, and we'll just go into the warm lead afterwards.
Oh, you need each of those. I was thinking like maybe you don't need ads if you're really good at content marketing.
You don't need everything. You don't need each tool, but you probably need to use a couple. You probably so for every layer, you probably want to pick two things. To start. So you probably would want to do SEO, and you probably would want to do content marketing, or if you wanted to move things faster, ads and content marketing. So basically, so the method for cold leads is pretty simple. It's target a highly qualified customer segment, and to create an interesting interrupt. Does that make sense?
Interesting interrupt, maybe. So it's like if they're scrolling down Twitter, they just see something that's totally out of...
It's just interesting. So basically, if they see an ad in Facebook, when they do SEO, when they do a search, it's an interesting thing that is going to take them off the course of their day. It's basically, they were planning on doing one thing, but you're interrupting them, and you're showing them something that's interesting, that's highly relevant to them, that's valuable, and it gets them to your landing page. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just go through warm lead, and then I think you'll sort of get how this works. So a warm lead, the objective of the warm lead is basically to capture a person's email, to get them on a list, to offer them more value than they expect. So let's say they do sign up to a 7-day drip campaign. You teach them more than they thought they were going to learn. You give them more value than they expected, and basically along with that, you want to educate them on how you can make their life better. And I think that works for pretty much every product. Your product needs to make their life better in some way. It needs to solve a problem. It needs to make their life better. It needs to entertain them, or whatever.
Something, yeah.
And the goal here is to convert them into a hot lead, which is basically they're just on the edge of making that purchase. And so what we don't normally do is think about this in like steps. We just kind of put out a marketing campaign and think, we hope it works. You
Mm.
know, we don't actually think, wait, no. Let's just break the cold lead into a small little packet, then move them into a warm lead. Let's break that into a small little packet, then move them into a hot lead, break that into a small packet, and which systematically makes it much more likely that each one's going to work.
I've
So,
thought a lot about getting email addresses. Like I definitely think about that because I have a system that works fairly well, at least for converting that into customers.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's still just a warm lead. So yeah, maybe the cold lead is the weaker link.
So then, the metric here is, the number of new unique email addresses per month and the number of engagement events. In other words, this actually is them viewing the landing page that you've created. And the tools for this layer is landing pages. So obviously you get them from a cold place to a landing page that you can create. Live and automated webinars, very, very powerful. Using a software like Demio. We've seen that with Modern Teacher. We started Demio. It's funny. I've been saying to these guys for years, use webinars to sell, but they've always wanted to go out into the field and sell. Well, we started using webinars. We had 2,000 people on a webinar the other day.
Wow.
It's like it really makes a difference. And webinars, it's so great because you can put your face on there, you can talk through the value of your product, and you can really, it really moves someone from a warm lead to a hot lead kind of thing.
I've only done one before, and that was not for this business.
Yeah.
It was for a English teaching related book that I was selling. I got like 3 people on it. I didn't tell them there are only 3 of you, but that was a rough hour.
Well, so now the thing about each of these tools here in this warm lead section, now it's kind of fuzzy between where a tool fits in a warm lead and a hot lead, as it were. But essentially, these are the reason why I put them here is because they're the nugget of gold that you get as a cold lead. So as a cold lead, you offer them, hey, you can get access to our free webinar. Hey, on the landing page, you can get access to our free white paper, or our drip course. So that's the reason why these tools are here.
So quantify this a little bit. Like what percentage of warm leads do you expect to end up purchasing?
Well, that's different. That's different for every business, and I think that what would be really nice would be to do like what we're doing with TrueSpace, where we have thousands of companies in the system, and we can benchmark them and look at them and see what the difference is.
Good similar ones,
but it obviously is. It's completely different for every business. This is an overall highly abstracted framework that is not dealing with a specific business. It's just giving you. This is the scaffolding for how to do really successful online marketing. This is the scaffold.
Like here's some things to look at. Here's some tools at each step.
Yeah, and so then hot lead is like, especially for higher price point stuff. I'll just quickly go into the kind of things I'm thinking about. So this is like like a sales webinar versus a learning webinar. Because in a warm lead, when you use a webinar, you're probably going to do something like, this is how Elixir works. It's just a general
teach them a bunch of
Elixir
stuff.
teaching them thing. But a hot lead is like when you say at the end of that, you say, tomorrow I'm doing a webinar that shows you how if you use my training system, you're going to get a job that's going to raise your salary by 30% by the end of the year. And so that is like a hot lead, and you bring them onto your actual sales webinar. And so, things like that could be moving people down a funnel into like, I don't know, a 6-person Zoom call where you get, so rather than just selling to one person at a time, you actually doing, one-on-one sales, but you've got 6 people on the call,
Yeah, that's a tough thing to sell though. Like I've actually never tried the whole, like you will get a job that pays you more money if you learn Elixir, because I don't know if it's true. Like I've done the, like you will level up. You can do really well by picking a niche, and it's good at all these things. And even if the language doesn't boom, it can still be a win, like me niching into Backbone JS. But I don't say like, increase your salary by 30% because you learn a different language.
I was just throwing an example out there.
Yeah.
Because I wanted an example from in that moment that would just make sense.
I mean, it's super powerful for like learn to program, like or like certain educational courses.
Well, what could be interesting is that thinking about things this way could actually change the product, because it might help you
Yeah,
sort of go, you know what? Yeah, there really isn't a good reason. Like, and it could show you the weakness in your whole product. Now, I haven't fully fleshed out from the hot lead
if
downwards.
if I were going straight for the money, I think it would be like replace your 30 Rails servers with one Phoenix server or something like that.
Well, there you go. There you go, right there. That is ridiculously powerful. And in fact, that's where you could have from a warm lead, you could create a webinar that basically, but that wouldn't be the hot lead webinar. That would be the warm lead webinar, where you would basically put together some webinars that would basically, this is market building, just like I was telling you. So basically, you build the market, you show people how incredible Elixir is, you get them into your funnel, and then you try and convert them to a hot lead and say, hey. And by the way, Demio is an amazing piece of software. It's so good for sales, and you can just
That's webinar software.
webinar software, demio.com. Yeah. And
Cool. Well, if you write it down, I'll put it in the show notes.
yeah, sure. Anyway, that's sort of where I'm at, and I'll develop that a bit more before next show, and I think that's where I'm just going to work is, for example, so with Nugget, what I need
Just
to
work
do.
on a module to teach all this stuff.
Well, I need to build the module, but also
Mm-hmm.
to market Nugget, I need to use this, and to market TrueSpace, I need to use this. And so with Nugget, I will need to do, some blog posts, some ads, some different
Yeah.
stuff. So I just need to go on.
One thing I would say is this is a lot of stuff. So I would think about how to condense it and just give like the essence of it, and then maybe have a separate post for each, going into each of the details.
Oh yeah, like we said, that was the very first thing we spoke about was
Yeah.
the
I mean,
low
because this was a
resolution 3D.
lot, like right now, even like this is a lot of details to go into. So
Yeah,
just a thought.
gotcha. Collapsed.
Collapsed.
I have
Right. Yes. Yes.
collapsed the.
Collapse everything down, and then they have to dig to get those inner nuggets.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so that's sort of where I'm thinking at, and I've just found it difficult to hit my blood sugar goals, and
Oh shoot.
um,
That's probably the real reason everything seems bad.
yeah, maybe. Look, this is 67% in range. I was shooting for 90.
Ouch.
Um,
Are you still
yeah,
doing the green base?
yeah. I don't know what I don't know. I'm trying to work out what the problem is. I'm just not sure. I'll report more on that next week.
Well, yeah. Hope you figure some stuff out. That's
All right. Do you want to take over,
It's
Sharon?
a rough one. Yeah, actually, I had just one thing I wanted to say. So you asked about a mental model last time, and I thought of one, but there was something else I was more interested in talking about. Let me see if I can figure out how to share. There we go. That is just kind of a business-related idea. So I think I mentioned before that Nathan Barry's book Authority mentioned 3 ideas that he thought were really key in business building and in marketing as well. Those were teach everything you know, because you're going to keep on learning more stuff. You don't need to hoard some secrets, really. Like it's not in like a really connected world like today, that's not the ideal strategy. And then first one was teach everything you know. The second was create every day. Because if you're just teaching all the time and you're not creating things, you're going to run out of the stuff that you know to teach. And then you're just going to kind of be rehashing it, and it won't be very interesting. Then the third one was work in public. And work in public was kind of his main, I guess like one of the main marketing techniques, or kind of his way of increasing his luck surface area. And I guess this is not an article about working in public. I just Googled it and got to this page. But the reason I thought about this is because in a very real way, the the site that I'm making for Reactor is exactly that. Like we're doing this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make the site anyway, and I could have made it in, easily in the first week, but instead I'm going much more slowly because I'm screencasting everything, and I'm thinking, I'm being more careful about it and breaking it into chunks that make sense for screencasting. And it's a lot of work to work in public like this. And I think I'm beginning to understand why, say, like why Adam Lathan does so much live streaming. I think it's because like making an actual screencast of everything you do slows
Yeah.
you down a ton.
Yeah.
But it's a higher quality experience for the learner. But
Yeah.
if you live stream it, and you're not too worried about the live stream being exciting, you are still working in public, and you can, churn through way more tasks in your coding or your designing or whatever you're doing. Um, so it's gotten me thinking about maybe doing a bit more live streaming, maybe doing like more walkthroughs. Like
Mm.
I build a bunch of stuff, but then people don't have to watch me type everything, every single
Mm.
bit, especially if it's aimed at beginners, then I'll
Just giving the
screencast
20,000
everything.
foot view.
Or we'll walk them through it. So like go
Yeah.
through the code, explain the code, but that doesn't mean I have to type every bit out while they're watching. I think for a beginner, it's super valuable to see the person go through every last step of it. But as someone gets to, more familiar level, they can just watch your explanations and do the guided walkthrough, and then you give them the code. So I've been thinking about doing that, and also live streaming. But the concept of working in public, I think is really big, because I think that's one of the main reasons why he and like his friends like Justin Jackson and Brendan Dunn, a lot of those people just got so much momentum
Yeah.
over the last 5 to 10 years, because
Yeah. You just do more. I
people,
mean, yeah, you, you,
yeah.
you just built up that audience. Yeah. That's a big deal.
And also, I think there's some credibility. Like people see you're working on stuff, they see that you were working on it a few years ago. Like just over time, I think it's a huge edge for learning and selling, probably.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
not exactly a mental model, but that one's been on my mind.
Well, I think it's good, and I think it's good for anyone. I mean, yeah, something we were speaking about, and you know, I think from the early days of texting, basically, just a great strategy to earn more money, to increase your earning potential, and just create log surface area is just pick a new technology and write blog posts about it and learn it and teach it in public. You know, um, which is pretty much what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm interested
that's
in ConvertKit. I think I might have an exploration of ConvertKit over
what.
Stripe, over Drip. I'm pretty sick of Drip at this
Oh, you're
point.
on Drip. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think going from MailChimp, it depends on the person. Like I like ConvertKit a bit more, but I mean, to be totally fair, it's a bit janky on the tech side.
Is it?
Like it's
Okay.
clear that ConvertKit was made by a designer, marketer, not a developer.
Yeah.
But it's growing fast, and it's improving. Like they're aware of all these issues, and it's getting better.
What kind of
I
issues?
It's not that it's broken. Nothing's broken, but like, um, oh, well, here's an example. Like it's really easy to tag things, but if you're working with custom fields, a lot of things you can do with tags don't work. And custom fields are usually something that more advanced email marketers will want. I'm not sure if I shared it to you before, but on my blog, I have a second blog post, the new blog, and it's about custom fields. And basically, the problem with custom fields is, or sorry, the problem with tags is every time you're tagging something, that's like a Boolean, right? So is it like you can have like is subscribed or is customer or has
Mm.
canceled? And the problem is like, what do you do if you encounter some email address that has subscribed, canceled, and paused, or just any two of those three? It's like, well, which one was applied last? What is it? So then when someone picks one of those, do you unpick all the others? And it ends up becoming like kind of like a spreadsheet of like I'm looking at this table where it says the headings are like is green, is blue, is red, is white, is car, is ball.
Mm.
So you have toy one, is green, false, is blue, true, is red, false, is white, false, is car, true, is ball, false. And if you were to change the color from blue to red, you would have to like check all the other colors, set them to false, then set red to true. And only a crazy person would make a spreadsheet like that. What you'd have instead would just be, a heading of color and a heading of type of toy. So it'd be toy one, color, blue, type, car.
What is it? For the keyboard? Which keyboard? No, but I'll find it. I'll be done in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Yeah.
So there are reasons you don't want to do everything through tags, and like custom fields are really useful. ConvertKit doesn't support them that well. Then the other one is the API is like you can't do stuff like query all of your list of subscribers for people who say have a custom field of experience level intermediate. You can't do that. You have to like you have to query your entire list and then filter it yourself, check and filter.
Couldn't you just say is blue car as a tag?
Yeah, but then if you add one more type, then you need to increase, like you need however many colors you have additional tags, right? So you'll have like
Red
this
cars, blue cars,
quadratic explosion.
But if you just made a rule, you could sort of think of it like a state machine and make a rule to say you can only ever have one tag, and that tag is made up of a split between underscores. So everyone can only ever be in one state.
You'd have to make a complicated, brittle solution. It could be done, but it's it's not ideal. So
okay.
Anyway, it's good, but it's not really it's not really that dev friendly yet.
Okay, I have to head. My kid wants to play music, and I need to plug in a keyboard for him.
Well,
So
in that case,
let's quickly do goals. What are you going to try and get done for next week?
Next week, I'm going to release at least 2 more videos. Like, got to keep growing the top of the line.
Sweet.
And I'll see what I can do about fixing that cancellation flow.
Yes, that's a good plan. I think that's that's foundational. That's like the business just shouldn't operate that way. It's like it's just a flaw of the product. Yeah. So I guess what I'm going to try and do for next week is I guess I'm just going to. Well, I'm really going to. The blood sugar thing is it's so irritating. Oh well, today we did a 7-minute workout. That scientific thing.
Yeah.
So I found a good video for the 7-minute workout, and we as a family did that this morning. So I'm just going to try and do that every day. I guess one thing is with the coronavirus pandemic, we haven't been moving as much. I haven't been moving as much. So just at least foundationally every day, 7-minute workout. That's one thing I'm going to do that every day for the next week. One goal.
Sounds good.
Next goal is, I guess I'm going to try and conceptually get that mind map finished, just so that I've got all of the different points correctly thought through. And then the third thing is to do, I guess I want to get like 5 people into a batch on Nugget. I've got 2 people so far, so let's see if we can get 5 people into a batch by the end of next week. And then I'll do some more marketing and just more marketing stuff.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, dude. Thanks a lot.
See you next week. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
See you next one. Cheers. Bye.